then I think you would resolve. So how do you know the difference between a want and a wish, right? It's like being in love. For example, when you're in love, you do crazy things. Right? I'm sure you must be having a lot of experience on this. But you do things that are not only seemingly impossible, but you do things that are things that you never thought you would do in life, right? And that's because you want the person you love. It's similar in resolutions. Do you really want this resolution? Do you want to keep it? And if you want to keep it, what happens is it's easy to keep.
I see. So basically it all depends on how badly you want it.
How badly you want it, yeah.
Well, that being said, Dananjaya, we need to go in for a short commercial break. It's been a very interesting conversation so far, at least to me. Yeah. So we will come back. Stay tuned right after this break. Welcome back to Good Morning Sri Lanka. With me, Basam, and in the studio we have Dananjaya Hettiarachchi, who's ranked one of the top speakers in the top 20 competitive speakers in the world, and of course he's iconic, and he's also known a lot for his motivational speeches, which is why he's here this morning to help us figure out our New Year resolutions for 2014. So Dananjaya, we were talking about a little bit about how to set these resolutions during the first segment, and one thing that came out from you is also the difference between wanting something and wishing something.
That's
and
right.
The fact that it needs to be something that you actually want and not what you wish.
Correct.
Right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a resolution, something which you mentioned in the previous segment, and we're going to take that as an example, and we're going to put that into practice. So if your resolution was to quit smoking.
Right. Okay. Let's say, ask yourself, why do you want to quit smoking? Let's say you want to save money, right? And why do you want to save the money? Let's say you want to fund your education. You want to finish up a program that you've started this year. So the broader purpose becomes, I want to be more educated this year. That's your purpose. And one of the resolutions you need to keep is you need to quit smoking, because that will help you save money. So when you set it under a purpose, you're always motivated because you know why you're quitting smoking. Because in this example, it will be to save money to finish your education. Now, on the flip side, it could also be I want to be a healthy father for my kid. Now that's your purpose, right? Because of that, I want to quit smoking. So the resolution is, it's packaged under a broader purpose. And a purpose is powerful in itself, so that will motivate you to keep your resolve.
I see. Okay, if you are to also take these resolutions, what are the best way? What do you think the best ways are to sit down and calculate these things? You sit down and write it down, or think about it.
I don't think you need to think about the resolution, right? And then I'm going to come back to this, because today, even in the corporate sector, one of the biggest trends that are happening right now is giving a sense of purpose to your employees, right? I think this new year, you take your new year, and then something that you need to do is, find out what your purpose in life is. Now, there's a big difference between your dream and your purpose. If I ask you what your dream is, you could close your eyes and tell me, okay, I want to be sitting in the Bahamas with two beautiful women by my side, sipping a pina colada. You can envision your dream. If I ask you what
you can see right through me.
if I ask you what your purpose is, you can't close your eyes and imagine a purpose, because inherently a purpose can't be envisioned. It has to be discovered. So how do you discover things? You go on an adventure. So the first thing you got to do is you got to step out of your comfort zone, go out there and figure out what your purpose in life is, and then make the resolutions you need to make to achieve that purpose. You can't make a resolution without a purpose. That's just sitting down and just writing something down on a piece of paper that really doesn't have any meaning 6 months down the line.
I see. Coming back to this, Dananjaya, I've sat down and spoken to a lot of people like you about achieving people's dreams and motivation. This show, in this show, we bring in a lot of people to try and motivate people. And the reason we do this is, once you figure out your dreams and what you want, your purpose in life,
that's right.
in your own words.
Yes.
When you figure out your purpose in life, that's like sometimes finding gold.
That's gold, because everything else just falls in place.
Because that's one thing that people find really hard to figure out.
That's right. And I'll tell you why, right? I'm all for achieving dreams, right? Dreams is like the second step that's you need to take to success. Now, success is finding your purpose, and the second step is dreams. And a lot of dreams, and now before, like 5 years ago, I was all for dreams, but now, with my maturity, I've figured out that dreams are a lot overrated, right? So, okay, let's say you got a dream, and there are only two possible outcomes of this. Halfway down the line, you realize, I don't have what it takes to achieve this dream, and you give up. The second thing is you achieve your dream and then give up. Okay, so either way, the motivation to continue, you will lose it. Right? Let's say you want to act in a film. Right? That's your biggest dream. Let's take that as an example. So halfway down the line, you'll realize, okay, I don't have the talent for acting, therefore I'm going to give up on my dream. Next thing is you act, and then you lose the motivation to do something better because you've already achieved your dream. But when you look at a purpose, it doesn't stop. Right? You can't achieve a purpose. It's something that you're continuously trying to do. Now, let me give you this very good example. 5 years ago, I went to meet a client. He's a senior public servant in this country, an amazing man. And I was seated in the reception hall, and I was waiting, and I was looking at the brochure that was there, and it says, okay, Mr. So-and-so, postgraduate studies at Harvard University. Now, I was blown away. Now, I mean, coming from the private sector, going to Harvard is like amazing, right? But he didn't have the PhD or the doctor part in front of his name. Now, I'm sure if you go to Harvard and if you get your doctorate, I would tattoo the PhD part on my face, right? I mean, it's something that I would want everybody to know.
I can understand.
So I finish up the meeting, and being the inquisitive me, I asked him, sir, why don't you have the PhD part in front of your name? And he said, this is a very interesting story. He said, while I was studying in Harvard, I got a letter from the Sri Lankan government, because it was in the middle of the war back in the day, that he's required immediately in the country, and give him two options. You could quit Harvard, come back to Sri Lanka, or you could quit, the SLA, so the public sector, and stay in Harvard. So obviously he said, I quit Harvard and I came back to Sri Lanka. Now I was shocked. Right? I've never heard something like this before. So I knew this guy has now regretted his decision, right? So I just so that I can comfort myself, I asked him, so do you regret the decision? And he said something amazing. He said, I don't need a Harvard PhD to serve the people of Sri Lanka.
Wow.
And then that's when I realized I've met a man with a purpose.
I see.
Now, if his dream was to be successful, the choice would have been to stay in Harvard. But because his purpose was to serve the people of Sri Lanka, the decision was better for him to come back.
I see.
So now you got the difference between the dream and the purpose?
Yes.
Right, so there you go. So now what we need is people with purpose, right? Great purposes, grand purposes. And you can have your resolutions under that purpose.
I see. Oh, well, Dananjaya, I mean, unfortunately, my producer keeps telling me I'm running out of time.
Sure.
I just want to sit here and talk to you more about this, because there's so much we can talk about.
It happens all the time, man.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have in this morning show. Right. So in a sentence or two, if you can just give our viewers some advice for 2014, what would that be?
I think 2014, my advice would be, don't make it a safe year. Go dangerous, step out of your comfort zone, and go on a grand adventure to find your purpose. And you know what? Make your resolutions next year. Keep this year to find your purpose, so that you can have a clear resolve next year.
Great. Well, some great advice coming from Dananjaya Hettiarachchi. Thank you very much.
Pleasure's mine.
And for especially being with us on a Poya morning.
Thank
so
you.
That's it from us at MTV Sports. This is Good Morning Sri Lanka. We're signing out. We hope you have an excellent Poya ahead. Thank you.